Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, how is your personal brand doing? Do you even have a brand? You're not going to want to miss this next segment. We'll be talking to a nationally known personal brand strategist on the Jeff Crilley Show.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
I remember when I was growing up, I don't think I could name a single CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Today, they have become household brands. Who doesn't know Mark Cuban, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk? And because their personal brand is so important, it's so intricately tied into their corporate brand, that's why everybody needs a brand strategist to help them with their brand. Serah D'Laine is in the studio. She's a personal brand strategist, she's a business coach, and she's a international speaker. Thanks for coming on the show.
So excited to be here.
Well, we've known each other for a good 3 years because you were in California.
Yes.
And you grew up there.
I did for a long time. Grew up originally in Europe, but then, ever since I was about 13, I grew up pretty much, running through the streets of Hollywood.
And on your website, it says from Hollywood red carpet to reinvention. We're going to get to the reinvention in a second, but I want to roll a video. And this was a highlight reel that was created by, I think, your agent some time ago. So tell us about your Hollywood career.
Look at that baby face. Oh, gosh.
So
those are some really fun. I would say, honestly, my most fun character that I ever played. That was in Cold Case, actually. So it was a 1950s dancer. And then my favorite was actually I got to play a mermaid.
Wow.
I know, very few girls in life. It's like a desired past life. I feel like I fulfilled. There she is.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was actually, I got to live in Australia for a little bit and swim around in a mermaid tail.
And you were 13 when you first started to act?
I was, yeah. And hit really decent success right off the bat. So
Sure.
I'm really fortunate and I'm grateful. That doesn't really always happen very often. And so I got into SAG, I think it was within the first 6 months or 9 months. I did a JCPenney national commercial. I started in national commercials, yeah.
Well, I have this theory. I mean, Hollywood, and they call it La La Land for a reason.
They do.
I think it's a bubble of insecurity. So think about that for a minute. So if we were to talk to Brad Pitt, and we started asking him about his career and his how many Oscars he's won. I think he has a little chip on his shoulder. Why don't people recognize me like they would recognize, an actor who's received, half a dozen awards, right? So you never get there. Even if you feel like you've arrived, you never quite get there.
I think people have everybody has a different experience, but that's in any industry, right? Just Hollywood happens to be the largest media and advertising industry in the world. I was in a room with Brad Pitt and never actually personally met him, so I can't speak for him and his insecurities, or maybe lack thereof.
Right.
But I can say, so there's an art and there's a psychology of it. And so I always loved the art and I always loved learning about the psychology. I believe it's one of the best places that you can understand yourself at such a deep level.
Yes.
You have to be able to create a different identity. You have to be able to step in and embody a completely different identity.
Yes.
And transitioning that into being a business coach, having a personal brand, teaching other people to step into what is that version of you that you need to be in order to have a successful business, achieve the things that you want. Are there insecurities that come with that? I think we're all human. I think You'd be really arrogant to say that you don't have any insecurities and you rise above all of that. I have my own, and parts of me are very insecure, and then parts of me are like, I don't care.
Well, I'm so glad you're here and you moved to Texas. You moved to Texas 3 years ago. I want to pull up your website because you have
without politics.
You have a beautiful website. Tell us about the kinds of clients that you like to work with.
So this is my personal brand website, and I love specializing in helping people who are the face of their business, because that was how once I transitioned out of Hollywood. Again, it was at a very interesting period in time where I couldn't get work at the time. And so I needed to build something that I could own, that then I could capitalize and leverage the expertise from not just Hollywood and media, but also psychology, personal branding. And so my passion is to work with people who are the face of their business. I have an agency that does other branding and marketing and things like that. But yes, the people that I truly just get so lit up to work with are the experts who are so good at what they do, and yet they don't know how to package themselves. They don't know how to position themselves. Half the time people are like, well, who's going to listen to me? Or I don't want to put myself out there. Or there's insecurities. Or even if it's not a full insecurity, it's just kind of like, well, how do I do it? And I don't know what to do. But they want success, and they want to have this thing that they own and build it into something that they feel really proud of, and yet they have no idea how to do that. And I wasn't a big fan of promoting myself to a certain extent. I love having this interview with you, but I'd rather be at home in my sweatpants. Like, not everybody wants to put themselves out there all the time. It's awkward. You have to step into a different version of yourself. You have to fall in love with that version of yourself. And I get that. And I get that it's not always the fun thing. I usually meet people, and the ones who kind of do think that that's the fun one, they're a little bit arrogant, and they're not the experts.
Right.
So I want to take the people who are passionate about what they do, who are the experts, but they don't know how to package that, and they don't know, again, like I said, they don't know how to position themselves, and it feels awkward. So we kind of do a full, find the holes, plug the holes, figure out what's your offer, how are you going to position it so it attracts the people that you want, and that you can actually feel really aligned doing it, that version of yourself you need to be.
Serah is an amazing speaker. We found her most recent speaker reel. Let's go ahead and roll that.
And so one of the biggest things of why I love personal branding and getting in touch with the why is you will never compare yourself to someone else when you understand how you're different and unique. Even if they're doing the same thing. Even if they have the same messaging and they all use ChatGPT, it will not be the same. Okay. Give yourself permission to say why you're amazing. Why are you different, and that you do something differently than how anybody else does it? Inside of positioning with your how is, have you got a proof of mastery? And proof of mastery means that you can turn everything that you know into a methodology, a signature system, a framework, something that, again, will position you differently than how somebody else does it. When I think about profit, I'm thinking about how far am I in the green, not, oh, I made this sales, but my credit card's still red. That part. It's creating that personal brand to what? Bring awareness to the business, drive sales from their personal brand, and retaining. You have to understand how you're different, how you're unique, and then how you're going to position yourself as different and unique, even if you're doing the same thing as every other Brenda. Most people just talk about entertaining content and educational content. I put them in 3 different categories. Authority content is the third one, and authority content can be educational, but it's shot differently. It's positioned differently. It showcases you differently to the audience. Deeper psychology. Every audience, everybody see? Okay. Every single audience, doesn't matter how many people are in the room, every single audience is made up of 4 quadrants. They are why types, what types, how types, and what if types.
Wow. I'm so impressed. Have you now? There's a difference between acting on a Hollywood set and then presenting to a live audience.
Yeah.
Have you always had that skill?
Have I always had the skill? I think I have. I use some little NLP anchoring techniques now. I've learned. I will say I still get super, super nervous.
Yeah.
But I've been trained in that ever since I was 13 to be on a stage and you're in a room of 300 people and you have to remember your lines and make sure that you're speaking without your lip quivering. Like, you have to somehow calm your nervous system and still be nervous at the same time and then present and make sure it lands.
Well, I love it that you walk your talk. I've run into so many coaches and, they're coaching people how to grow their business, and then they go on their website and their website's messed up and some links don't work.
And then it looks like their 13-year-old did it. And
and so I love it that you actually own what you do, and I think the confidence that comes from speaking and putting yourself out there, people are attracted to people who own the room. And so, congratulations on that, and thank you for the lives that you're changing. We also have a live training that we want to promote, and we've got a page on your website. Why don't you talk about this?
Yeah, if you want more than just the mini masterclass you just got from the speaker realm. Yeah, so I'm really big on just giving as much information and training so that people can make educated decisions on whether we're a good fit or what they might need for their next level in business or building their brand. So that's a live training. You can get on the wait list for it. So we're not opening it up just yet, but it will be a reoccurring live training, and you can go to the link and just get on the wait list. And whenever we do, you'll be first to be announced.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got 2 minutes left, so I want you to talk to that reluctant client, because I know they're out there and
I don't talk to them usually.
So there are people watching this right now who say to themselves, I know I probably need her, but if I hired Serah, I'd have to really put myself out there, and am I really that person? Talk to that person, reassure them that it's a good thing to step into the light.
I love that statement, and it's really a testament also to what you're doing here.
Thank you.
Because it's important, and I would say now more than ever, people want, it's not just authenticity. That was a big buzzword, I feel like, last year, and now it's who do we respect? Not just who do we know, like, and trust, who do we actually respect? And sometimes now news channels are not as respected. And so we want to be listening to people who know what they're talking about, can provide valuable information, and want to actually genuinely help and educate people. And so those are the people that I love working with. I think those are the people that are perfect to have their own show. At whatever degree that is, this is a perfect studio for that.
Thank you. You're kind.
And
Thank you.
And it's important because not just for your business, I believe that having your personal brand is the #1 asset that no one can ever take away from you. Whether you change careers, whether something happens in your industry and you're forced into something else, unfortunately, those are sometimes things that we don't think about until we're in that hard situation. That was part of my story, and now I'm really passionate about making sure that people are more proactive to their success.
Well, it doesn't surprise me that you're so successful, and thank you for sharing your gifts with the world. We're going to leave you with the website so you can get in touch with her. It's SerahD'Laine.com. The great Serah D'Laine. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You bet.
I appreciate you.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.